like all the other week. But today, folks, today we have a very, very special guest, folks. She's one of the hardest women to to tackle down and to to ask for to be on as a special guest to get on the webcast. I just want you to know, but we did it. Thank you so much, Mr. Mike Vo, for taking care of that. Folks, today we have the Executive Director of the Barbering and Board of Cosmetology here in California, and she is here to have a discussion with our host. Of course, you know Mike Vo, our attorney, Mr. PhD, the famous activist slash big-ass salon owner in Huntington Beach, and of course, backed by popular demand, folks, our special host that left us for the chemist. Mr. Tongvu is back today, folks. So we have all the original hosts back with the special guest, Kristy Underwood. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Folks, if you guys have been following the webcast that we've been doing since the breakout of this crisis, as you guys know, I was one of the first to go off on the BBC. I admit it, okay? Why? Because I didn't know what the hell was going on back in April. All I know is I pay this department my fees, my fines, and then when something like this happened, I'm gonna look for them. Folks, that was my experience. I have voiced that on the webcast, but since then, folks, it's been almost 6 months now, and I have learned certain things about the BBC. And like I said, today you are in a very special treat. We're gonna get to, I'm hoping that you will be able to find out what the BBC actually do for us as nail professional and what they do for the clients, all clients. Okay, just some of the general idea that we might not know about the BBC. I think that's a good starting point for us nail professional to figure out how we can work with the BBC instead of how to cuss them out when you don't know what the heck is going on, like I did.
So I'm Kristy Underwood. I'm the Executive Officer of the Board of Barbering and Cosmetology. I've been in my position for just about a little over 15 years, and I've been with the Department of Consumer Affairs for about 26 years. And so our board is, of course, we license everybody who works in the industry as well as the salons, but our main goal is consumer protection. We actually have a law that's written that says that consumer protection must be paramount in everything that we do. So, regulatory boards are created to protect the consumers. They're not created to be the advocates for the licensees. And that's been very eye-opening for us in this pandemic. With the people that we have come in contact with that didn't have that understanding, that thought they were paying their fees, that we would be the ones that would kind of fight for them in reopening in that aspect. And that's not our role. It's not what we legally can even do. We set the health and safety guidelines that everybody follows in their salons, and those are set to create protection for consumers. The California Department of Public Health is who is setting these requirements during the pandemic, the closures and the reopenings, and then it's even more so getting into your own county public health departments who are making stricter requirements. So it's been very interesting run for the last few months for us. And it's definitely something that we really want to get the word out of. And it's not to say that the board does not support the industry, because we 100% do. One of the things that I always tell people is I'm a closet licensee. I'm not a licensee of the industry, but I love the industry so much. And in fact, I might have different hair already from the last one I did. Salons opened and I went right away. But I'm a lover of the industry. I love the industry. I love all the services that are provided by our licensees. And so we want to make sure our licensees are safe and healthy, but it is our role to protect the consumers first and foremost. So that's been kind of a difference in people's understanding with what's going on with the current pandemic.
So, Chris, that in the last, 6 or 7 months, worldwide, here in California, we've all dealt with the COVID issues, the pandemic, the lockdowns. As an attorney with Salon clients, I get questions. As a board chair for the Pro Nail Association, I have questions as well. And the folks nowadays aren't so concerned necessarily with the regulations that the BBC was handling pre-COVID. Let's put it that way. Now we have all these issues of these new PPE measures, opening, closing, counties having different requirements. I mean, it's very difficult. It's very challenging even for myself as an attorney to keep up with all these things. But the one question I always get asked over and over, even from my own co-host, was back in May, our governor made a comment about the first case of community spread. Being in a nail salon, and has there been any response from the governor's office? To my knowledge, there hasn't been. But I just want to ask you, Kristy, do you have any evidence or knowledge of the first case of community spread COVID being from a nail salon?
I don't, but that is because, again, it's not our area. We have no info on the contact tracing that's been done. It's that's definitely within the California Department of Public Health, who has so many people that are collecting that data, and it's not something that we have or could answer to. So I actually don't have the knowledge on that. Well, I knew I was going to get a lot of phone calls, and I did. We got a lot of calls. We got a lot of media calls. I mean, I can't. My phone was off the hook. I thought the whole little thing was going to explode. And we just didn't have the answers. And I don't know that. A lot of media calls came into our department, and again, it's not our department that would be able to respond. So, yeah, it was. It was an interesting week, to say the least.
Right. Mike, you mind if I just follow up on that, on this one question real fast? It seems like up to now, our discussion, it seems like that most professional, we automatically, you see it, right? Just based on what we're discussing, automatically go to the BBC for information. So I guess what I'm trying to ask, is there any possible in the future where, because of the professional, automatically the first source we go to is the BBC, that we can actually, there's more a closer relationship that you can work with the professional, that you actually can support us, and we feel that, oh, the BBC is not only taking our payment or fines, but they're actually there to help us. I was just curious about that based on what happened in this crisis, Kristy.
There's a couple things we're looking at. One is building a better relationship with you all, so that we can, hopefully we're not ever in this situation again, but let's just say if we are on the same page, at least the board and the industry right away. So we, hopefully we'll learn from that lesson. And then we're also trying to work better with some of these other agencies, because we know that everybody calls us first. They call us first, whether it's a school question that we have nothing to do with, if it's a labor question. We get labor questions all the time, and those are difficult questions. So we're trying to actually build a better link to try to at least tell people where they can get that information. For all of this, I'm glad I don't work for the Department of Public Health or any of them, whether it's county or state. I personally like the tier system. I wish it's something we would have had from the beginning. It makes it a lot easier for us, because one of the things, when the governor, or actually I think it was Dr. Galley who announced that nail salons could be in the purple tier, we then had to go contact all the counties, if we could get through to the counties, to see if we could, what are they doing? And because counties can go stricter than what the governor does. And it was interesting. It was an interesting feedback that we got. We were surprised that some counties were going to resist that and not go with the State Department of Public Health, who felt nail salons could open indoors safely. I think, with the whole pandemic from day one, it's been a process of what we thought back in March might not be what we think today, and that's just the way, because it's so new to everyone, it's just the way it's happened. I think that the nail salons' voices were heard. I can tell you that for sure. And I think the legislators in the Asian Pacific Islander Caucus heard the nail salon industry. I think it was very positive. I think it really made a great improvement to the overall understanding of the nail salon industry. One of the things that I think that having COVID, I think nail salons will probably transition the best, because they've already been wearing masks, and they've, to be honest, they pretty much wear gloves as well. So they're already a step ahead of everyone. All of us are learning how to wear masks now, whereas a nail salon, most of the technicians have been wearing masks for years. So to me, their transition was probably the easiest, and that's why I was so happy when they did make the move to nail salons into the purple tier.
Personally, I have some estimates with my organization. We could see up to 50% of nail salon closures come this late fall, especially considering that we've read in the papers, what is this, the twindemic between a flu and COVID. Any thoughts on how is that going to impact the nail salon industry? Is there going to be do you have any information there could be a reclosure or anything of that nature?
Oh, the thought of it gives me heart failure. I haven't heard any of that in that direction at all. I know one of the things that we're doing in the field right now is we are out there educating. And one of the things we don't want to happen is to have COVID traced back to a salon, whether it's hair, skin, or nails. And it might happen, but it might also happen and be okay if we're wearing our masks. So, our inspectors are out in the field, but we are not actually doing inspections. We're just kind of walking in a little bit because, again, we want to keep you guys safe. You may already have clients in there. You don't need another person added to the social distancing. So we're trying to just come in, drop off a checklist, drop off information. If you have any questions, we just want to help people follow the guidelines. We're hoping everybody follows our health and safety regulations that you've known about for years and years, because we wouldn't want a consumer to all of a sudden get an infection from a pedicure or a haircut or something. But the main thing we want to focus on right now is wear your mask, social distance, so that we don't give a reason to reclose the salon. We are looking right now to start holding some type of outreach. We haven't decided for sure on the platform yet, but we're hoping actually in the month of October to do some targeted outreach. If you happen to be in Los Angeles, they do conference calls with their licensees, and while they've been a little rough, we thought we should be doing stuff like that as well. So we're actually in the planning phases right now to hopefully get something off the last week of October, and then we're trying to figure out how we could do that with our individual licensing sectors so we don't have everybody on at once. So hopefully we will be announcing something like that probably in the next couple weeks.
Okay, great. And just to throw it out there, Kristy, if any time you or the BBC needs assistance in getting information out to the viewers, to the nail professionals, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to assist in whatever efforts there are to get that information out there. just setting up calls, webinars, whatever it is, we'd be more than happy to assist here and help this.
Thank you.
All right, here's my question to Kristy. Mike brought up about the school, Tom brought up about the school. Most of my question, what I like to do, Kristy, is to actually look into the issues in the Vietnamese nail community and address that issue and see what we need to do to change it. That's where I'm coming from with my question. The school, obviously, you probably heard, one of the big issue with the Vietnamese nail community is that, lots of nail professional that actually not go to school but bought their hours.
Right.
That's a big. Is that an issue for the BBC that you guys are aware of? Yes or no?
It is. In the last couple of years, we've taken some action, and by action, I mean we've been trying to have more of a presence at schools, along with the Bureau of Private Post-Secondary, who really regulates that aspect. And we saw some schools close. I think the good school owners were probably happy to see that, because they closed basically because of pressure, because we had received, a lot of fraudulent information. And so, it's definitely something we look at. It's definitely something that the Bureau of Private Post-Secondary is looking at. And it doesn't help anyone. Just because you can pass your test doesn't mean that you can go out into the industry and follow those regulations that we've set. Whether they're good or bad, right now they are what they are, and that's what you learn in school. You learn those regulations and how to honestly, how to not get fined when you go out into the industry. So we're really, that's the biggest concern, is we get that people might be able to pass the test.
Yeah.
But are they able to actually perform the health and safety functions that are needed out in the industry? So it's definitely going to be ongoing, that the Bureau as well as us are keeping an eye on that.
You got it. And to answer your question, that they are not that very productive, or they are doing the industry any kind of any credit or any value. Okay.
Right.
One of the things that you see, that people buy the hours and they pass the test. A lot of them buy the hours and they find somebody to take the test for them, and then they go and they go into a salon, and basically they do what I call a monkey see, monkey do type of training. That they sit next to somebody and they learn, and just happened that the person that next to them probably bought their license. So my point is that just imagine that little incident can affect the reputation of the Vietnamese nail professional, as we all know. Now, continuing on with that, the same idea. Okay, that is an issue that I hope that we can definitely take care of, is those type of nail techs that's buying the hours. Since the crisis, even before the crisis, Kristy, what is becoming more popular right now and a big concern is at-home service. We've been talking about it on the webcast. We call it home nail salon. Okay, that's what we call it. Okay, and I know there has been an increase because of the topic that Mike brought up financially. Of course, as a nail salon owner, I'm sorry, Kristy, I liked you and everything and the BBC, but I got a rent to pay. So, hey, can you come to my house? I totally understand that. And I'm not saying that the pros should have a pass for doing that because they pay, okay? My concern is the clients or the other people want to be nail professional that actually saying, hey, I need money too. And I've been getting my nails done for the last 10 years, and I know how to do it, and I can buy the products and stuff at, Walmart or whatever, and I can go home and do it, not only myself, but my friends. Have you seen an increase on that? Has there been more increase in complaint about that? And what is the board doing about that?
We definitely have. We definitely are getting complaints about that. And we will follow up when we can. It's a little difficult. We can't go into people's homes. And I can tell you, if anybody, not only unlicensed activity, but anyone doing services from home, there's a lot more that you have to worry about than the state board. If your county finds out that you're doing services at home, granted, some counties, very few I think, might not be as concerned, but there are some counties who think if you're putting acetone down a county drain and out of your home, they are not happy, and they hold a lot more teeth when it comes to that than, and I've seen some counties take very, very strong stands about that.
Wow.
Not worth it. I can tell you that I'm probably one of those people who thought, I don't need to go to a nail salon. I bought myself a dip kit.
Okay. Oh, I got one.
It did not work out.
Okay, thank you.
Leave the professional services to the professionals. Here's the message: wear your mask. You probably already are. And have your clients wear a mask. That's super important as well. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't agree with wearing a mask, but the bottom line is it is a state mandate, and you wear a mask to protect people around you, not yourself. So your clients should want to protect you. I just got my hair done. I wore my mask the entire time, and I think she wouldn't have cut my hair if I hadn't. So I know that these times are terrible, but really make sure you are having your mask on and your client is wearing a mask and you're social distancing. I know a lot of nail salons have put up that plexiglass barrier, and it's been, they've gone above and beyond with that, and it seems to be working wonderful. And so, just let's do what we can to make sure that this industry stays safe from COVID, and that we can continue moving forward, and hopefully next get nail salons to start, or I'm sorry, skin salons, the estheticians to start working more inside, and hopefully we'll get there. But follow those guidelines, and they're going to help us reduce that spread.